Yeah, sure.
Since when?
Well, you see, sociology is the study of human behavior. And since we're all humans, it's something we should all be interested in.
Very well put.
Thank you. Did you enjoy the soda?
Yes. You know, Denise, you never told me your brother was so charming. You're right, I didn't. You know, Theo, I just realized something. You're the only male child in the house.
That's right.
How do you feel about that?
It's a beautiful experience.
You know, Denise, I find this stuff so interesting. I guess it's because I'm an only child.
Really? What's it like?
Well, actually, I think I'd rather be here. It just seems to me like large families do a lot more sharing and have a lot more fun.
That's exactly how I feel. Especially the sharing part. Now, some guys might find it hard living with 4 sisters. But I think it's made me more sensitive to the wants and needs of women.
Suzanne, I need to talk to my brother outside in the hall for a minute. Do you mind?
No, not at all. Give me a chance to write down what he said.
What are you doing? What am I doing, Theo? What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You changed your clothes. You cleaned your room. Cologne, Theo.
It's left over from last week.
I'm trying to impress Suzanne.
I am not.
Oh, then why did you say you're sensitive?
Now, what's wrong with that?
You're not sensitive, Theo. Never used the word before.
Denise, I am sensitive. And if you were sensitive, you know that.
Look, I just want you to stop coming on to Suzanne, okay?
Coming on?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help.
You're helping for the wrong reasons, and I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. Suzanne would never be interested in you.
And why not?
Because you're a sophomore and she's a senior.
Just only 2 years difference.
Physically, yeah. Not maturity. Theo, those years are like dog years, okay? Suzanne is actually 14 years more mature than you.
Denise,
What?
you can relax. I'm not interested in Suzanne.
You swear?
Yes.
And you're going to go back in there like your normal self?
Yes.
Good.
If you excuse me, I want to get back to my study.
Well, here I am standing out on the Huxtable spread, watching my wife plow the back 40. Seems like only yesterday, me and the missus packed up the youngins and put a wagon together and just drove on out here.
This is so lovely. How come you're not down here giving me a hand?
Because that's dirt.
It's dirty to me.
Then why is it that you get upset when the children track life into the house?
Now, you know what your problem is. You're a doctor who walks around all day in his prissy little white coat, washing his hands, holding your hands up like this.
I do not hold my hands up like this.
Yes, you do. Now, you know what you need?
What?
You need to feel the pleasures of nature. Now, come down here.
I don't want to feel life.
Like I said, you're a doctor. Put your
Not
hands
the
in
kind of
the
life
light.
I
Put your
don't.
hands in the light. Twist through your fingers. Now, what?
Worm.
Mom, Dad, I need your help.
What's up?
Theo, he's acting weird and he's ruining your project.
Oh, dear. How is he acting weird and ruining your project?
He's trying to impress Suzanne.
What's he doing?
He changed his clothes, he cleaned his room, and now he's upstairs studying.
We'll see if we can get her to move in.
I think he's going to ask her out.
Denise, I really do think you're overreacting to this now. What's the worst that could happen? He'd ask her out and she'd say yes, so what? You'd have a friend dating your brother.
Mom, no! You don't understand. Theo could end up at my senior prom. And what if Suzanne and I go to the same college? And Theo's going to be hanging around there, and then he's probably going to go to that college. This could be the beginning of life with Theo. Yeah, Dad.
Better you than us.
I'm coming! Thanks, Dad.
It's all right.
And what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because this girl doesn't understand. The boy is 15 years old. At 15 years old, a boy will hit on a snake. But the boy does have good taste.
Better than you did.
I beg your pardon?
As if I saved you.
You saved me.
Right. I saved you. Before I came along, You were
Oh, so
chasing
wait, these
every
girls that's
low-life woman of uncertain reputation in
ambassadors
the
for
neighborhood.
with me on the Indigo thing. So
You
last
were
night the
sad,
meeting, we
pitiful,
gonna do an event
desperate, and
together.
tired.
All of us, we're gonna do like a resource fair, and I'm gonna bring some of the moms that, part of Mom
I
New
remember
Business
the
to
woman
have
you were
their
chasing before I came
tables and
along.
stuff. And
There you
so
were,
one of the girls
little
from Girl Trek
bright-eyed,
was talking
knobbly-kneed
about
boy of 14,
this guy she can
chasing
get
a
this,
woman
she could get this
18 years
guy that
old
they're
who was
really good
still
friends
in the
with
ninth
to
grade.
do a promotional video and blah blah blah. And
I
so,
saved you,
and she, she
sad
said she could get him to do it for free. What she would ask us is that if we could at least give him like $20 each or something like that. You will
And what do
never
you
guess
do?
who it is. You will never guess who it is. You remember Josh that was in our group?
Dark skin with a fro.
The guy with the glasses that we did the event at over on Germantown Avenue.
I remember his name. I
Tall,
don't
thin.
remember his face.
You
But
don't
yeah,
remember his
I
face?
do
I had to
remember
call
him.
Carla. She'll know exactly who it is. I was like, I ain't never known Josh to do nothing for free.
He what?
I said, I ain't never known Josh to do nothing for free.
I don't remember which one
I
it is.
got the call caller. The one that left our group and started another group when we was in
Yeah, see, I
financing.
remember
Remember him? Yeah,
him,
you
but I
just don't
can think
remember
of
his
his
face.
face.
Yeah. I got call caller. She gonna be like, shut up. What? I said, oh, okay. You get Josh to do something for free? That would be nice.
We don't back down. We don't need a handout. In fact, we'd rather lend a hand. We're proud to be depended on. Proud to build upon culture. To be proud of where you came from, you have to be going somewhere. Built Ford proud.
It's the Labor Day sale at Mattress Firm. For a limited time, we're offering a king mattress for the price of a queen and a queen for the price of a twin. It's our best deal of the season with store-wide savings of up to $600. Plus, take home a free adjustable base with your mattress purchase of just $4.99. Our customers are raving about these deals. Experience it yourself today at the Mattress Firm Labor Day sale. Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Boost Mobile has a super reliable, super fast network, so you can stay connected almost anywhere. Like up here at Lookout Point. But there's more. Switch now and get 4 free phones for your family.
Hashtag first date.
He ain't family yet. But there's more. You also get 4 lines for just $100 a month with unlimited gigs, so you can stay close to your loved ones.
Cut your hair, hippie.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get 4 free LG Stylified phones. 4 lines for $100 a month with unlimited gigs, all on our super reliable, super fast nationwide network.
We have to be able to repair the enamel on a daily basis. With the new Pro Enamel Repair Toothpaste, more minerals enter deep into the enamel surface. You have an opportunity to repair what's already been damaged. It's amazing.
If you come to Burlington just to buy a coat, here's what you're missing.
Great fitting jeans.
Tons of boots. My favorite brand. So much for the home.
Makeup.
The latest fashions.
I love the brands. I love the savings.
Hello, Burlington. Bye-bye, Coat Factory.
This is what happens when you win a house in a Jimmy John's delivery zone. And you realize, holy moly, we won a house in a Jimmy John's delivery zone. Enter to win a house at jimmyjohns.com because sandwich.
Get to Kohl's and take 25% off select Adidas for the family. Plus, everyone gets Kohl's Cash. Take 25% off Adidas apparel, save on Adidas shoes, and Adidas backpacks are just $41.25. Plus, free Amazon returns now at all Kohl's stores. Kohl's.
What makes a sauce ragu? Is it our 80-year heritage? Or is it the fresh taste born of farm-grown ingredients? Actually, it's both. Only then do you get to be called ragu, simmered in tradition.
4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month.
Whoop! That makes 10 million and 1 smiles on Cricket.
There's 4 of us, so
10 million and 5.
4.
Point is, you got a deal. Join over 10 million customers smiling on Cricket.
Hi, I'm Toffee, and I'm the irresistible combination of a chewy caramel cup, a crunchy hazelnut cream, and a drop of chocolate. Wow. So, let's have some fun. Toffee.
Challenge yourself for her.
Challenge convention.
Challenge your next tour. Challenge your next move. Challenge accepted.
Purdue University Global. Affordable online education for driven working adults. Apply now at purdueglobal.edu.
Your cat and the lynx share the spirit of the wild and a love for meat. That's why there's Blue Wilderness. It's made with more of the meat they desire. Try Blue Wilderness today because your cat is wild inside.
This is a legal alert for users of Roundup Weed Killer. In July 2018, a judge determined that all federal lawsuits could move forward against Monsanto, the maker of Roundup Weed Killer, over concerns that those exposed are at risk for developing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And in 3 landmark verdicts, the most recent in May of 2019 for $2 billion, one in March 2019 for $80 million, and another in August 2018 for $289 million, it was concluded that Roundup was responsible for the plaintiff's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Roundup Weed Killer is the most commonly used weed killer in American agriculture, with an estimated 85 to 90 million pounds used each year. If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after being exposed to Roundup or a glyphosate herbicide, you may be entitled to compensation. How do you fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience and resources to seek the most compensation for your injuries. Call for a free case review.
Go. 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 Oh, that was dramatic. Yeah, her name is Suzanne. I'm telling you, man, you've never seen anything like this girl. We're talking fine-tuned body here. And her eyes, oh, you guys are gonna fall out when you see her. And you know George's girlfriend? She makes her look like George.
Any activities you enjoy doing without the children?
All of them. That's true.
What Dr. Huxtable means is when you have children, you enjoy those moments alone that you have as a couple.
That's not what I mean.
Would you cooperate?
Oh, Suzanne. I didn't know you were still here.
Theo, why is your shirt wide open?
Hi.
That's what we heard.
Sorry to interrupt, Dad. I need to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Did you borrow my razor?
No, son, I never borrowed your razor because your beard is too
Go ahead,
hard
girl.
on
Go on, girl. Go on,
I
girl.
guess I'll find it somewhere. I don't need it till later anyway. Suzanne, just go ahead and do what you're doing. Pretend I'm not even here.
Okay, let's see. There's one more thing, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
Go ahead.
What kind of arrangements have you made for your children in case of your untimely passing?
We're going to take them with us.
We both have insurance policies.
Mom, Dad, I want you both to know that if anything should happen, you can count on me to step in and give the family the emotional support it needs.
I'm glad I'll be dead.
Thea, what a wonderful thing to say.
It wasn't that wonderful.
Come on, Denise. It was. You know not many guys have his sense of responsibility at his age.
Did I mention his age was 15?
I'll be 16 in 7 months.
Just around the corner.
I'll get in. Suzanne, I'll be right back. Hi. Denise, somebody for you.
No, I'm looking for Suzanne. Is she here?
Yeah, Mark, hi.
Hey, this your brother?
No, he's my boyfriend.
Come on.
Mark, come in. I want to introduce you to everyone.
Thank you.
Denise, do you know Mark?
Yeah, you're on the wrestling team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him around. Nice to finally meet you.
Same here.
Thanks.
Dr. Huxtable, Mrs. Huxtable, this is my boyfriend, Mark Roberts.
My wife. Fine. Nice to meet you.
No.
Hi.
And this is Denise.
All right, all right, all right. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Tanya T coming to you live from my living room as I prepare to do the one-page business plan live webinar. This is a webinar. This is my first time doing this as a webinar. I typically do this in a classroom setting, so this is the first time doing it as a live webinar. And so I'm excited to do that. We figured out this whole webinar process, so I'm ready to go. I'm looking at my live chat roll to see if you have any questions. You can always use the chat roll that's on the website. You can also use the chat on the YouTube stream as well. So either one kind of works if you have any questions or any comments. So I'm going to get ready to get started. All my videos and stuff ready to go. So okay, we're going to wait for Onita. She's getting her, printing out her worksheet. So that's good. That's important to have. You should have gotten the worksheet via email. So if you have that worksheet, please print it out. It's going to be really, really important for you, just not tonight, but afterwards as well. It's really, really important and a powerful tool to have. Got a lot of stuff going on here, so using the chat roll. Chat roll. Okay. Hey. We'll get ready because I'm going to get ready to switch out of this. Just want you all to be able to see my face. I'm going to get ready to go to the PowerPoint presentation. Here. Hold on one second. Try to need it out real quick. know Dining Gray is tonight, so may not have too many viewers. Folks are too busy carrying their white folding chairs and their picnic baskets for Dining Gray. Come on, come on, come on. All right, let's get started. I'm going to switch over to the browser and webcam so that we can have the presentation. And let us begin. My laptop is acting weird. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. All right, here we go. The one-page business plan. Boom. Here we go. So, objectives for the night. Learn how to use the business model canvas as a business plan. Review each of the 9 boxes of the canvas and apply them to your business. This is the worksheet that you should have received via email. Then we're going to create an outline for the one-page business plan and then convert the business model canvas into a one-page business plan. And we use the term one-page business plan because it's not literally a one-page business plan. It is what's considered a lean business plan, meaning that everyone does not need to have a 30, 40-page business plan, but everybody should have a plan to do business. And that's really what the one-page business plan really allows you to do. So when we're done this, you should have at least an outline to be able to create a lean business plan. So let's start with the business model canvas. I like to give a description of what that is. The business model canvas is a business model that describes the rationale for how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. That's what the business model canvas allows you to do. It was created in 2008 as a strategic management tool, and again, it is a lean startup template. I'm going to show a video in a little bit as well. So here's what the business model canvas looks like. You have these 9 boxes: key partners, key activities, key resources, cost structure, value proposition, customer relationships, customer segments, channels, and then revenue streams. And we're going to look at each and every one of those and kind of break them down into what they are, how they work, and again, I'm going to show a little bit of a video as well. So let's start with the value proposition. So the value proposition is really very simply, what do you do? Or what is it that your business idea, what problem does your product or your business or your service solve? That means what value are you adding to this target market? What value are you adding to these people that you have identified as your customer? What do you bring into the table? What is your value proposition? We always start with the value proposition first because everything else grows from there. Starts with the value proposition, everything else grows from there. Key partners. Who will you help? What problem does your product or service solve for this demographic or group of people, again, that you have identified, right? So when you think about your business idea, you want to begin to really think about these key partners are not just, they're not customers. Key partners are the relationships that you have with other businesses, governmental or non-consumer entities that help your business model work. So those are who your key partners are. These can be relationships that your company has with suppliers, manufacturers, other businesses, other governmental agencies. I work with the DBE Supportive Services Center, right? So contractors call me all the time because they want to do business with PennDOT. So I'm like that go between to help them to develop that relationship. So we're a key partner both for contractors as well as for PennDOT. So this is who your key partners are, right? It is those people who are not just, they're not your customers, but they are people that help you to solve these problems or or add value to your customer, or to add value to your customer or help you in solving that problem. Next is key activities, and this is pretty self-explanatory. The key activities is, what do you do? Right? How do you do what you do? How do you add value? How do you solve the problem? How do you do what you do? The most important things a company must do to make its business model work. That is the key activity. And it is different for each business. When we had our t-shirt company, our key activity was what? Printing, purchasing shirts, identifying logos, slogans, whatever. Those are the key activities for a t-shirt company, for example. Again, I have a whole nother session that I do that's geared just toward that business, but just to give you an idea, when you think about your key activities, and you should, as you have the canvas in front of you, you should actually be writing these things to be coming, hopefully some of these things will beginning to really generate some ideas in your head as you are following along in the webinar. You can start thinking about some of those things and start really kind of jotting them down under each one of these categories. So we've had our value proposition, key partners, key activities. Next is key resources. Key resources. So key resources, what do you need? What do you need? Key resources are the main inputs that your company uses to create its value proposition, services, its customer segment, and deliver the product or company. What do you need to make your business work? The most important assets required to make the business model work. And they could be physical, they could be intellectual, they could be human and financial, right? We all want a key resource for any business is money, is capital, right? When we talk about financial for any business is capital. And so you have to think about, what are those key resources? Do you need a storefront? Just as we were preparing for this, I just saw a tweet that almost 150,000 retail jobs are going to be gone by the end of the year. Gone. Because why? Because of the Amazons of the world, because of all of the online shopping that we do. So that is really putting a dent into the retail market. I think it's a store that just closed recently. Dress Barn just closed recently. And there's some other stores that are really closing. So you have to really think about those key resources and what you really need to drive your business. And we're going to give you some examples of that as we move forward. I'm going to give you some actual concrete examples for you to begin to really look at. Next is cost structure. What will it cost? The most important asset required to make the business model work. Now, when we talk about the cost structure, because and I don't want to jump back and forth to the canvas, but if you look at the canvas where cost structure falls at, cost structure really describes all the costs incurred to make the business model work. Now, what you want to do is you want to break these out into two, right? Variable and fixed costs. This is something that every business plan typically has. When you look at your expenses, your business, the way it operates, what does it cost for you to operate your business? Variable and fixed costs. So your fixed costs are those things that will not change. Those are fixed. These are the expenses that we're going to spend money on every month. Those are things like rent, insurance. If you have a physical business, I'm just using that as an example. Rent, your utilities, your cost of your Wi-Fi. Those are the type of things that are fixed. Variable costs can be, those things that, maybe entertainment, food, if you're not in the food business, food. They can be other things that are variable. Those are the costs that change. They change. They can change, or potentially can change from month to month. So those are your variable costs. So when you're thinking about your costs, you want to really think about variable and fixed costs and what are the differences between those two as you look at your costs. One thing I also like to add relative to the cost structure is knowing whether or not your business is a cost-driven business or a value-driven business. That's very, very important. Is your business a cost-driven business or is it value-driven? And what that means is cost meaning, are you cost meaning, are you on the low end of the cost scale or the high end of the cost scale, or are you more concerned about delivering value to your customer, right? When cost driven is really you get what you pay for. Value is really about, hey, I'm going to really deliver a great service, really deliver a product at the most cost effective way of doing that. That's the difference. Next is customer relationships. How do you interact with your customer? How do you interact with your customer? Okay. What type of relationship does each of your customer segments expect us to establish and maintain with them? What are the expectations? So customer relationships describe the type of relationship a company establishes with its customer segment, which we'll get to next. Customer relationships are driven by customer acquisition. What that means is how are you acquiring your customer? How do they find you? Do they find you online? Do they find you from a flyer or a postcard? Do they find you via the phone? In the hair business, they may be a walk-in. How did you acquire that customer? Was it a referral? That's what the customer relationship is about. It's about how you acquired your customer, how you retain your customer, and boosting sales. In other words, how you continue to get to keep and know and grow your customer relationships. This is critical to your business plan, to your to you growing your business. How did you acquire your customer? How you're going to retain that customer? And then how do you get to know them? And this is really all about touch points, right? So if you find a customer like, you found a customer through Facebook, or you found a customer, somebody referred you and say, hey, why don't you call so-and-so, so-and-so. So you call somebody, they call you and say, listen, I was referred to you. That's how they acquire you. That's how you acquire the customer. Then how do you retain that customer? What's your next step? Do you send them an email? Do you give them a personal phone call? That's how you work on retaining that customer, continuing to build that relationship. Those are the next steps as a part of the building that customer relationship. So again, those are some ideas of when it comes to customer relationships and establishing and how you maintain that relationship. And again, they can be physical, intellectual, human, and financial. So now we get to the customer segment. Who are your customers? And when I talk about customer segment, I really go deep. If I was working with somebody one-on-one, and actually I just went through a similar session with my social media advisor, and him and I went through a whole thing of the customer of my customer segment for Mind Your Business, and we went through that to the next level as far as naming the customer, naming her, what her likes and her dislikes are, how many kids she has, what she does for a living. You have to get into those demographics, psychographics, social graphics of your customer. And I know that might be a little heavy for some folks, but this is how well you should really know your customer, because how well you know your customer determines who you are is the only way, the best way for you to know who you are creating value for. If you don't know your customer, how do you know if you're creating value for them? Right? And so these are the different groups of people or organizations. Maybe you're a B2B business, right? Maybe you're business to business. So that's a different customer versus being B2C, which is business to customer. Those are all different segments. Again, so it's you have to really determine the groups of people or organizations and enterprises that you are looking to reach and to serve. Knowing your customer, and you really want to spend some time in that particular box, really writing down everyone that you think is your customer, right? Writing down everyone that you think is potentially your customer. Next is channels. And so channels are through which channels do your customers, now notice what this says, through which channels do your customers want to be reached? Well, if you don't know your customer segment, you'll never know through which channels that they want to be reached. That's why you got to get to know them, right? So, like with some customers, they may work good with a text message. Excuse me. They may work good with an email, right? I know my daughter's a hairdresser. She gets customers that DM her on Instagram, right? That may be what that particular person prefers. But and using again the hair industry, there are customers who want to call and make their appointment. They prefer to do that. So you got to know which channels work best and for who. But the only way you can do that is if you know your customer, right? And you got to know those channel types. So there are all kinds of channel types, and I really would like to just kind of hit on a few channel types. Give me 1 second. I want to try to all the different channel types. can be, again, email as a channel type, text messaging channel type, phone channel type, face-to-face channel type. Those are all the different types of channel, and then you have different phases for each one of those channels, right? So again, thinking about how you acquired a customer, then figuring out when to follow up with that customer based on what you know about them. Okay, I acquired them as a referral. I'm going to follow up with an email. After the email, I'll follow. The next thing is a phone call, right? Different phases for each one of those individual customers, each one of those customers, and each one of those channels. Next is revenue streams. So remember, cost structure and revenue streams are two different things when you're talking about money. Cost structure is about how you expect to get paid. What is the structure for that? If it's an invoice, if it's a Cash App, if it's PayPal, if it's a cash register, if it's Square, all of those things, right? Those are different. That's cost structure. In addition to the variable and the fixed cost of how you're going to operate. Revenue streams is how much will you make? What are people willing to pay? How would you? This is a part of revenue streams. It's also a part of the types of the way that they pay. How would they prefer to pay? Again, gets into, is it Cash App? Is it PayPal? All those things like we said before. And how much does each stream contribute to your overall revenue? Now, this is important because you have to understand that each one of these streams, each one of these streams, it's important to know how much each one of them contribute to the overall picture. Because say that, for example, and I just use the hair care business because it's easy, right? So you have one revenue stream is washing curls. Another revenue streams is weaves. That's two different. Those are right. That it could be looked at that way, right? But then the other revenue stream is product, right? That's a whole nother revenue stream. Product, whether that be hair, whether that be hair care products, oils, edge control, all that kind of stuff. Those are all revenue streams. How much do each one of those streams contribute to the overall revenue? I'll use Mom Your Business as an example as we get ready to move into our co-working space. The fees for the co-working space, that's one stream. The coaching, that's another stream. The products that we have, our t-shirts, our cookbook, that's another stream, right? And so, and then grants, we'll be getting some, we're applying for grants. That's another stream. So all of those should be looked at as all of those should be looked at as far as how do they contribute to your overall revenue, right? Merrily eating off streams. That's what Jay said in Family Feud, right? And here's the thing about that. It is said that the most successful entrepreneurs have a minimum of 7 streams of income. 7 streams of income. Okay, just keep that in mind as you begin to think about the revenue streams and as you're putting together this plan. So before we get to this Canvas equals business plan, I want to show the business model Canvas video. Let's come out of this for a second. And we'll go to the video. And here we go.
This is the business model canvas. It's just what Beth and Carl will need to craft a powerful business model, and it can do the same for you. Let's dive in and see how it works. There are 9 essential building blocks that make up any business model. When you get all 9 blocks working together, you'll have answered the fundamental questions any business model must solve. We'll start here with customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. Channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the types of relationships you're establishing with your customers and how you're acquiring and retaining them. Pricing mechanisms through which your business model captures value are documented under revenue streams. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model, so you can describe the infrastructure you need to create, deliver, and capture value. The key activities show which things you need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. Any business model can be mapped this way: 9 building blocks working to reinforce and strengthen each other. But before you make a model for yourself, it helps to see what a breakthrough business model looks like in action. Like this one. Low-cost airlines revolutionized air travel thanks to their disruptive business model. Let's first look at their value proposition. A low-cost airline offers ultra-cheap flights to their main customer segment, budget travelers, by adopting a no-frills policy. And this leads to additional revenue streams, because customers pay for their ticket and additional fees on items like food and drink, priority boarding, and luggage. The airlines save even more money through their choice of channels, selling only through call centers and the internet, making for efficient, if not always convenient, customer relationships that are automated and often impersonal. Okay, that covers the right side of the canvas, the part everyone can see. The left side of the canvas is what's going on backstage. Like their choice of key resources, they reduce maintenance and training costs by using a single aircraft model for the whole fleet. And they only fly to cheap airports where it's cost efficient to land, or where they even get paid to touch down. Planes that do land have quick turnarounds, so they get back in the air earning money as quickly as possible. And they form key partnerships with others in the travel industry, like car rental, hotel, and insurance companies. Finally, under cost structures, all maintenance, training, airport, and call center costs are trimmed to their lowest levels. All of these pieces working together make their fares almost impossible for traditional airlines to compete with. There's nothing superior about these airlines except their business models. They're reaching an entirely new segment of travelers out of reach for traditional airlines. Cutting out costs is pretty exciting, right? But wait, just because it's successful for discount airlines doesn't mean it will work for your idea. Luckily, the business model canvas allows you to iterate many models and test them quickly. Let's get started with your own business idea.
All right, so there you have it. That's the business model canvas in the video. I really just love how they really kind of break that thing down, really plain. I'm going to go here so that you can see me as we, kind of wrap this thing up. And so the way that we wrap this thing up is that now once you've done your canvas, and you won't, finish it tonight, you won't do it in one setting, but when you begin to delve into the canvas and go through those 9 blocks, you have to really look at it. It's a brainstorming session. You have a business idea, so you start at your value proposition. That's where you start. This is what I have. This is how I'm going to add value. This is how my product or service is going to solve a problem. That's where you start. Flush that all out. Flush that all out. Get it all out. Once you've done that, then you move to your other boxes. Then you move to your other boxes, and you begin to really look at, your key activities, the what that you do and the how that you do it. You begin to really look at your key partners, knowing who they are, and what they bring to the table. Then you begin to look at your cost structure, your variable versus your fixed costs, and then you begin to look at your customer segments and your customer relationships, right? And how you are going to service your people, how you want them to pay, and knowing who your customer is. Then you begin to look at your revenue streams. How are you going to make money? That's what the revenue streams are. How are you going to make money? How often? Where's that money coming from? What percentage of those streams contribute to your overall revenue? That's the things that you want to look at. And when you're done and you've got those 9 boxes all together, now you basically have a business plan. And you can do one of two things. You can use that without writing out a formal business plan. Let that be your point of reference. I know people that have done that, and that can work. That can work well, effectively, especially if you're a visual person. Is the canvas can really work for you that way. But also, if you want to go a little bit deeper, let's go back to our PowerPoint for a second, because I want to get this up here nice and big. Right? If you look here, I've broken this down into 5 sections. You have the executive summary, the business description, operations, marketing, financials, right? Now, you always do the executive summary last. You go to any business plan class, they will tell you that the executive summary is done last. The business description. So where do you think that your business description would come from? Right? Your business description comes from a combination of models. It's going to come from your value proposition. It's going to come from your key partners and your key activities. And maybe a little bit of your revenue. That's where your business description is going to come from. Your operations is easy. Key resources, key activities. That's where your operations come in. Marketing, customer relations, customer segments, channels. That's your marketing. Financials, cost structure, revenue streams. Boom. You have a business plan. Those are the 5 main elements of any business plan, and that's how you get from the business model canvas to a business plan. So, what I'd like to do is I want to thank you for joining me tonight on the one-page business plan. And you can text Mom YR Biz to 76626, and we can do a 1-hour business plan session. We can also do I have another session I do specifically a coaching session on starting a t-shirt business, but I want to be able to help you take those 9 boxes and create a business plan. That's what this is all about. So again, this is Tanya T. You can always visit me at momyourbusiness.org or momyourbusiness.com. My email address is, I got a couple, but you can use Tanya at momyourbusiness.com, or you can use momyrbiz at Gmail. I still use Gmail. It's just important to have. I just like having the Gmail one. So you can always hit me up on any social media platform, Instagram. You can hit me up on any social media platform, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on all platforms. DM me and just let me know what you thought about the session. Please make a comment on the session. I will be emailing out the link for those of you that weren't able to make it on the call tonight. And go to meetup.com and join our meetup, which is Mom Your Business on Meetup. Join our Meetup where we'll be sharing resources there as well. So thank you again. I hope that this was helpful. And always and forever remember, now is the day, so enjoy it. Yesterday is over, so learn from it. And tomorrow is not promised, so pray about it.